Welcome to Film School Fridays. I'm Kevin Smith. Okay, kids, so as we have been for a while now, we're conducting our Film School Fridays at one film school, man, the Los Angeles Film School, right here on, what is it, Sunset or Hollywood?
Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard. I always get those two confused. And you'd think I'd memorize them correctly because the trannies are on the one street, and that's the street I'm always on. Fantastic campus they got right down here in the heart of Los Angeles, across the street from the Cinerama Dome, for heaven's sakes. Every film school should be across the street from a movie theater, I believe. And so it's fantastically located. We've been sitting down with the kids over the course of the last few weeks, and I say kids, of course, because I'm a middle-aged old man of 42. Most of these cats are aspiring. They're young to the game. They're fresh meat, if you will, to the charnel house that is film. And what we've been doing is sitting down and having conversations and kind of trying to illuminate a bit of the process as I exit the room. I'm almost done making films for the movie theater, so it's nice to be able to kick back in a non-competitive headspace and be like, here's the benefit of everything I learned. You want to know how I made Cop-Out Kids? This is how I did it. Stuff like that. Impart words of wisdom and things pitfalls that perhaps the youngsters can look out for as they head out and into their journey of making their own stories, making their own storytelling, and making their own film. So Film School Fridays is us sitting around bullshitting about film. We're going to meet 5 students who are students right here at Los Angeles Film School. They're going to tell us what it's like here, and they're going to ask some questions. No holds barred. You guys can ask anything you want. Believe me, I don't think there's anything left you can ask me that hasn't been asked, with the exception of how much do you weigh? That's the only question I'll keep for myself. Thank you. But everything else you could ask away. There's no ceiling and whatnot. I don't have any sort of limits. I'm heading down a path that I've been before, and a well-trod path by others. Apatow went down it as well. Mm-hmm. So the next time I finally feel like, fuck, I got balls as a filmmaker again, and it doesn't have to be balls; it could be lady balls. I got ovaries. I'm gonna try to switch up that gender stereotype. Was on Red State. That was the one where I felt like, fuck, man, like this takes me back to the beginning, and like the blood's boiling.
When I saw it, it reminded me of, like, this is what Clerks meant to me. It's like it touched me on that level.
Thank you. It was a spiritual. I always consider that a spiritual sequel to Clerks. Like, Clerks is a movie where you're like, this guy could fucking do something. And Red State took me a long time, but you're like, he finally fucking did something. You know, it's a nice bookend movie.
It's like, I think Clerks and Red State for me are like my 2 top movies.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. That would be a good double feature, man.
And it wasn't both movies. They weren't what I was expecting either, because I rented Clerks.
Oh, you're gonna make me hard. That's what I like to hear, dude. Like, you know how hard and this everyone should take. You're here. You've been in the film school since May. Right. You're starting your journey, filmmaker in training. What's your question?
I started a while ago. Like, our school had a really good, not a film program per se, but television production. They taught us how to use Avid. And
what?
Yeah,
really?
I got to graduate high school, Avid certified user.
And this was in New Orleans or in Louisiana?
Louisiana, Southeast Louisiana. Yeah.
I grew up next to New York, dude. Right. I didn't even have it Avid until I was like later on in life.
Yeah, they gave us laptops like our senior year as part of this class with a whole bunch of software, Avid, Adobe, and they trained us really well. We got to do shooting projects. I graduated high school in May '09, and the next month I was interning at a news station in New Orleans. Got to interview Drew Brees. I mean,
that was a good school. Give that school a shout out, dude. Where is that school?
Destrehan High School in Destrehan, Louisiana.
There it is, man. Everyone's always like bagging on Louisiana. Why? Look at that. I didn't have that when I went to school.
The film industry's picking up there.
There's a lot of production.
It was
Louisiana.
good
before I referred to this as the movie capital of the world, and technically it's not, because very few movies get made here anymore. They all go out of state, and a lot of them are going to states with huge rebates. Louisiana has the biggest. I think that's where didn't Seth and all his friends shoot This Is the End, I think, was shot down there.
Oh, okay.
Django was in Louisiana as well.
Yeah, we just had the actress who played DiCaprio's sister in that come here for Q&A.
I got to meet her too. She was really cool. Nice to meet her. Laura Cayette, I think is her name.
Mm-hmm. So that's all the studios do, dude. It's no great fucking like, here's the dark book of arts and now we will bond with this theater. They go, we got Iron Man. First week we want 98% of the gate. Second week, 75% of the gate. Third week, we at 50-50. We got a deal, and whoever owns the theater goes, yeah, fuck, I want Iron Man, so sure. You can do that just as well. I mean, you don't have the sweet-ass bargaining position of, I've got Iron Man, but you're like, I got a movie, and I think I can put 100 people in your theater on a Tuesday night. And that's music to a theater owner's ears. Talk their language a little bit. Learn the other side of the coin, the money aspect. It sucks using any part of your artistic brain for something as banal as fucking math and something as uncreative as business. But if you want to protect your art, and if you want to see your art soar, if you want to play more of a hand in it, know a little bit about that stuff.
Very cool.
Over to you, sir. How are you? What's your name?
I'm good. I'm Artie Holmes. I'm a bachelor student here for the Entertainment Business Program.
What is that? Now explain that.
Basically, they teach you the business side of entertainment.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know
so
they had that.
I am in, it's an 18-month program. I'm in month 4. So far I've done classes like entertainment marketing and leadership and management principles. So
what do you think of it so far? What are you
it's
pulling
pretty
from it?
good. I mean, I got really fortunate because it started right when I was pretty much in the middle of my recording program. Because I got my associates here from the recording arts program,
Right.
which is they got a building down the street. So I was like, I got to keep my momentum going at this place. And that was perfect.
Nice. And you're smart too, man. It pays to get educated about the business side of show business.
Absolutely.
How long you been here? How long?
I started the recording program in August of 2011, and then I started the bachelor's in March of this year.
And when do you finish your bachelor's?
September of next year.
Right on. So you'll almost have 3 years here when you're
Yeah.
when all said and done. And it's been worthwhile. Where'd you come from originally?
I was born in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then to very southern Wisconsin, and then I lived in northern Illinois, a place called Belvedere.
Okay. I've
I
heard
was
about
about
it.
10. That's where I graduated high school from.
Right on. And then, so did you come out here for the school, or were you out here already?
It was a long process to get here. I mean, I'd been in Wisconsin, and I graduated, and I grew up loving film, and
Right.
and then got into a factory job and kind of that normal sort of life.
So you had the dream, and then you were like, well, there's the dream, and here's reality. And reality is like,
Reality is like, this is Illinois, and this is what you do, and that's pretty much it. It's like when the first time I saw Clerk, that's like, that's why I related to it so much. It's
You're like, holy shit.
how am I going to get out of this pit?
Right. How long did it take you to get out of the pit?
So I was there 3 years, and then I went into the military.
Okay. Another one. Jesus. This is the pathway to
Like
film
2/3 of
school,
the school
is the military.
population is
Especially-
military guys.
Is it really?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Especially in the bachelor's program,
Yeah,
a
he's
lot of
military.
military.
I'm not.
That one guy's like,
Not-
I ain't with these
not
guys.
Fuck these guys.
4 to 5.
I served myself. Wow. All right. So you did military how long?
4 years out at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
And then you got out and you said, fuck it, film school.
Not so much, not yet.
Okay. Then what happens next?
So basically, I was in the military. I get out, did 4 years honorably, and then I went back home, and it was like another 9 years of just trying to get a normal, ordinary life. And it's like, I am not wired for this at all. It's not working out. So it's like I had an opportunity to come out here, and I just took it.
Look at you. So how old were you when you made
So
the
I was
check?
35.
Good for you, man. Fuck, that's
It was
I mean,
like-
that's
Yeah.
that is a quiet sort of heroism that's uncelebrated, man. To be 35 and like, fuck it, I'm switching. I'm gonna do
If I
a
don't
wash
do it
of
now,
the deck.
it's not going to happen.
Bingo, dude. It'd be like
at
10,
35.
20 years with about before you'd realize that, like, oh shit, I should have took that shot. Then the more you think about it, the more life just gets.
Because
in the
I
way.
thought a lot about the 9 years that I spent after the military, and it was like I don't think I would have had the headspace to come out here at that time.
right.
It's like I had
It
to know
happens when
exactly.
it's meant to happen.
I had to know exactly what I was leaving behind
really
because I
does.
would have been like, I wasn't prepared for this. And
It's true.
So by the time I got out here, I was like laser focused.
Nice. That's the thing. Like, they send kids to school when they're kids, and like when you're a kid, you're like, I just want. Well, when you're a guy kid, you're like, I want pussy. I don't know if girls are like, I want dick, but you're so preoccupied. How can you ever get any fucking straight thinking done? It sounds like that by the time you're like at age 35, I knew exactly what I wanted.
Yes.
So you were able to hone in on it.
Because I was
wisely.
following that path really well in high school. Like I was doing mixtapes on cassette and, passing it to my friends, and they're saying, this is really good stuff. You should do AV Club. And then I did that, and it's like, after high school, it'd be really cool to get like into a TV news station kind of an environment. And it's like, it didn't happen. And then what are the opportunities and getting sucked into that?
Right.
And then you get in the military, and it's like, I bet this is what being in the film industry is like. And it's surprising that it's already been talked about.
It's very much like
and
that.
how similar that I'm imagining it probably could be, and that I might be able to do this.
Yeah, why not you? Again,
Yeah.
like it comes down to like other people, and the people who are doing it's not like this motherfucker was birthed from an egg from space. Like it's people. Zack Snyder's story is it may not be like I went to the military, but it's very similar in as much as I liked movies and I figured like maybe I could do that. And he started with commercials and stuff and segued over to fucking Man of Steel eventually. So all of us it used to be this preconception I had where you were born into the business and somebody gave you the job and handed it down to you like Excalibur, but it's full of people who got in through long, weird, winding paths, but all of them share the same thing of like, why not me? Maybe I could do this. That's a big difference.
Yeah,
You
it
got
was
to that
interesting
point?
when I first started here because I wanted to do the film program, and the tuition for it, I couldn't get it all covered. But they were like, well, you can do the recording program. And it's like, I did do mixtapes, and I was like really big in the audio. And I'm the guy who has the surround sound system back home. And it's like, okay, I'll do that. And it's my way in.
It's your sound geek way in.
And then it's like the bachelor's program started up, and it's like, oh, I can continue my momentum that I built up here. And then I just started an internship with What's Trending, which you've
I've
been on
that show. Yeah, I know them very well. They're cool people.
And I just been on that for a couple of weeks, and it's like you go there, and it's like, was that Gilbert Gottfried? He was on like yesterday, and I just missed him. So
oh my god,
it's
that's
like
cool.
to go from Illinois to this is just
You never see Gilbert Gottfried in Illinois.
No, even like the tourists who come out here hoping that they're like, oh, maybe we can go to a Craig Ferguson or something and kind of get an experience. But this is like so much better to actually live out here.
To live here on the campus of Los Angeles, as they say. Nicely done, man. All right, so what's on your mind? What can I answer? What can I illuminate?
So what I'm wondering is what I like to call the African child paradox.
Okay.
From Get Him to the Greek.
Get Him to the Greek.
It's like when you're in this situation where, especially here, as we screen movies all the time, and I'll go, oh my God, that was horrible. But it's like in the Midwest, you can talk about it, but here you don't know who you're sitting next to.
Right, yeah, there's people.
So
like,
it's like you kind of be quiet, but sometimes you'll have like the Q&A afterwards with the people who made it.
Yeah.
And I remember like last year they screened Warm Bodies.
Okay.
And I didn't like it, but I realized I wasn't the target audience.
You weren't a tween girl that they were making
exactly.
it for. Right.
And I'm like, so the lead actress was here doing the Q&A. I'm thinking, oh, please don't come up to me and ask me what I thought about it.
Right.
So my question is, how do you deal with something that you didn't like, but you don't want to like offend the person that might be a part of it?
That's something I kind of learned over time. Like when I first got in this business, I did an interview with Film Threat magazine where I talked about, they brought up comic book movies. This is 1994.
Oh, wow.
That's when I graduated high school.
There'd only really been the Batmans at that point. Huh?
Tim
And
Burton's
shitty Captain
Batman
America.
and the old Captain America and also the Fantastic
They had the
Four that was
Flash. I
made
used to
from
be a
Miller.
big fan of the Flash TV show.
But it was, they were talking about what would you like to do? And I was like, oh, I love Daredevil. I would do Daredevil movie. I said, but, Chris Columbus is apparently, he was attached to do a Daredevil movie at
Really?
that point.
Home Alone, wow.
Yes. And so I ripped into Chris Columbus and called him a hack and fucking, he's got no business touching a Daredevil movie, all that, fucking 20-something stuff. I got a call from my agent. I was at CAA at the time. She's like, did you say all this stuff about Chris Columbus and Film Threat magazine? As if Film Threat was People magazine, as if it was like, it's all over the fucking town. But there was no internet yet either. I mean, not the way that it is now. It was the early fucking Al Gore type of internet where only a few people had it and shit. So it wasn't like you could read this everywhere. You really had to, and Film Threat was like, they had a circulation of maybe 25,000 or I don't know, maybe in the 90s. 100,000 or something like that, but it wasn't like on every newsstand. Somehow she fucking knew, and I found out how she knew. It was because Chris Columbus read it and was like, why is this guy saying this shit about me? Isn't he a CAA client? And so she called me and she's like, Kevin, you have to write an apology letter to Chris Columbus. Oh. And I was like, let me say, I was 24, almost 25 probably at that point. And I was like, are you shitting me? And she's like, yeah, he's repped here as well. You got to write an apology letter. And I was like, okay. And so I had to write this kind of like, sorry I said shit about you and Film Threat. I liked the Goon. No, did he write the Goonies? There was Gremlins. I liked Gremlins. Like I was reaching back in his body work to be like, I liked your work, blah, blah, blah. And I remember being so resentful of like, why the fuck? I eventually left CA because I was like, because they asked me to write another apology letter. A few months later, we were doing casting for Mallrats. And I was, I guess it was Entertainment Weekly. I was doing some interview, and they were like, "How's casting going?" I was like, well, I want to cast the people I like, but like studios got weird ideas. They gave us this cast list. It's got Mike Myers on it, Ethan Hawke, and of Ethan Hawke, I said, the dude's like 40. And they wrote in parentheses, really, he's 30. So, so I got called by my agent again. She's going, did you say the shit about Ethan Hawke? And I was like, what did I say? I said he was like 40 and he gets offered a lot of jobs. My point was, at that point, Ethan Hawke was in every other fucking movie and shit. So I was just like, I'm just saying he works a lot and whatnot. And they were like, well, he came across really badly. So you got to write him an apology letter. So I sat down, I had to write Ethan Hawke an apology letter. And then I was like, fuck this, man. This is like being in high school. I wound up going to another agency. So that was when I was young. And I was like, I want to be able to say whatever I want. I don't care whose feelings it tramples on. Then you make some movies that people shit on. And then you learn pretty quickly that you're like, oh, it doesn't feel good when people fucking keep it real and, you know, go out of their way to tell you how powerful, they feel against your work or something like that. That's only trial and error. And now there's some people who are Teflon. They're like, I don't care. You can tell me how much you hate my shit. It's not going to stop me from telling you I hate this, and that, and that. But me, I'm a little more, you know, I was raised Catholic and fucking went to Catholic school and got, you know, that moral barometer hammered into me from a young age, not by a priest, but by my parents. And that sounds dirty too. But just the idea of like, you know, do unto others as they would do unto you, the golden rule kind of thing. So I came by that by way of, you know, pain. Like that interview I did about Chris Columbus was in an issue of Film Threat that was celebrating Mallrats, which hadn't come out yet. When Mallrats came out like a month later and took a big shit on the carpet, who was the dickhead? You know, me, the guy who was like, Chris Columbus is a hack who can't make a fucking movie. And Mallrats comes out and tanks. So trial and error. You get to a place where you're just like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't want people saying this shit about me, so I guess I won't say this shit about them. Now, that's publicly, though. Doesn't mean you can't privately be like, that fucking sucks. Like, I got married just so I can turn to somebody and be like, didn't that suck? Am I crazy or did that suck? That was horrible. You know, you keep it to yourself or amongst your friends, but you just have to be careful. You have to remember, especially now, as fucking digital tail follows us through all time. The moment you put it in print, and when we say print, we mean, of course, online, it'll chase you forever. I said shit about Paul Thomas Anderson back during Magnolia that like just last year people were like, did you say about Paul Thomas Anderson about Magnolia? I was like, yeah, years ago, but yeah, I did. It'll come back. So, you know, you gauge that. Now, if you're one of these people, it's just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, I don't care what kind of mess I make, then by all means. Like, everyone loves to watch that person. Everyone loves to watch the person who's like, I don't care whose feelings I hurt. This fucking blows. Like, that person gets read. That person gets watched. We love negativity. We love schadenfreude. We love to hear somebody shitting in the mouth of another movie. Man, even a movie we love. It's weird how we just want to, sometimes it makes us want to defend, but sometimes it just makes us feel better about ourselves. We're like, yeah, he ain't all that. You know, it's a way to kind of manage your feelings about yourself somehow.
Yeah, because I was just watching an interview like 10 years ago with Vincent Gallo on Howard Stern and during the Roger Ebert thing.
Yes.
And I was like, you know, I admired the guy because he's so honest in his feelings.
Earnest, like, altruistic.
Like, wow, how can you do, like, how many bridges are you burning saying all this stuff? You admire it, but it's almost like you wish you could do that too.
Yeah. It's tricky, man. It's some people will be like, well, don't be such a pussy, man. Say what's on your mind. But like, the whole world is not always inviting you to say what's on your mind. Sometimes people do. Sometimes, like in my case, a magazine or a website will be like, what do you, like right now, all I'm getting is like, what do you think of Man of Steel? Because I've talked about Superman and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm going to see Man of Steel tonight and hope to Christ that the conversation could be like, oh, it fucking blew my socks off and shit like that. Otherwise, I'll find a very democratic, egalitarian way to be like, I'm happy any comic book movie exists or something like that. You know, try to say something fucking positive, especially because in the case of like the trailers I've seen on Man of Steel, even if the movie blows, everything I've seen, I could never do myself. And I'm a filmmaker. I've been doing it for 20 years and I know people can get shit done. And still I look at it and go like, I can't do that. I got no business telling this motherfucker he didn't do his job right. That being said, everything I've seen looks fucking phenomenal.
Amazing.
I was cool. Listening to your
most watched movie trailer in history.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is that they just announced that really?
Trailer 3, I think.
The one that was like with the exploding krypton that begins with the piano, or with the Zod,
like the spider thing.
Really?
Yeah, the one where they first showed that.
Was like in the ocean or the water.
Yeah, and he's oh shit. I look for. I'm a Batman guy, and I wasn't like amped for Superman, but like for Man of Steel. But when I started seeing shit, I was like, Jesus, they may have cracked the fucking code.
Well, I just
hope
listened
so.
to your review of Dark Knight Rises, and you compared it to a movie that when I went out of there, I was like, I think I just watched Rocky 3.
Yes.
So I was amazed
Yes.
that you made that comparison.
That and Good Will Hunting. That was the one I
Yeah.
walked out of there going like, oh my God, they literally stole a scene from Good Will Hunting.
That was like totally Rocky 3 for me.
It was Rocky 3. All right, man. That's it. That's what we do on Film School Fridays, man. We sit around and talk. We're going to wrap up and say goodbye to everyone. As we do that, tell them your name again. Tell them what you're going to major in, what you're doing right now, and tell them where they can follow you, reach you, Facebook you, Twitter you, and whatnot. As we all know, social media is so very important in this business, as you know, based on the course that you're taking. Hit them up. Go ahead.
I'm Ian Gross. I'm a screenwriter, and you could reach me on my Facebook, Ian Gross. There you go.
Right on. Now, we lost my man. I forget his name. Anybody? You guys don't all know each other. I think that's interesting. But we can go back and listen. He had to go to a class. He had to rush out of here and whatnot. But he was the first dude that talked, I think, about like being in the service. Louisiana, Mr.
Yes,
Louisiana.
Mr. Louisiana.
He had to blow for class, but he says goodbye. Over to you, sir.
Ralph Xavier Fergoni.
There's that cancer cure name right
I'm
there.
I'm also a DJ. So if you Google Ralph X, you'll find me.
Nice.
But it's ralphx.com or facebook.com/DJXAIO is my artist page. And,
Blow him up.
easy to find.
Over here, sir.
All right. Artie Holmes. I'm a bachelor student here at the LA Film School, majoring in producing and working over at What's Trending. So be sure to check them out. 12:30 on YouTube Live. And yeah, I can be reached at Art Holmes on Facebook.
Nicely done. How do you spell Holmes? Holmes?
HOLMES.
There it is. And over to you, my man.
Alejandro Alvarez, or you can call me Alex, whatever. Majoring in cinematography / editing / directing. Catch me at the Redondo Beach Pier playing at the arcades over by the South Bay area.
Guitar?
No, just playing arcades.
Playing arcade? What, games?
Yeah, arcade games.
I thought you meant playing like
They got
bing.
no. They got
thought you
they
were
got
playing
the
gigs.
They got like the classic. They got the classic Moonwalker game over there.
Do they really?
Still
my.
kicking.
Nicely done.
outta
man.
here.
You've just been listening to the future of cinema, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to know, as I kind of head out the door, that there are people that pick up the gauntlet and go run with it. And these cats are going to be telling their stories for the next 20, 30 years, man. So check in on them from time to time, watch their journey and whatnot. You got to hear them early on. You'll be able to say, I knew them when. That's Film School Fridays. So this week, again, we thank our gracious hosts at the Los Angeles Film School. I always stutter on the name. Is that what they call it? Just the Los Angeles Film School? It's so big, it seems like it would have a grander name, but it says it right on Los Angeles Film School. It's exactly what it is. Yeah, or one day there'll be Los Angeles Film
I
University.
was at Amoeba one day.
It's better
I
with
saw
branding.
The banner
Simpler
and
is
I was
better
like,
usually.
I must
Right.
go there.
What are you saying about Amoeba?
Oh, I went to Amoeba when I first moved here, and then it's like I saw the building across the street because I knew I was going to go to school, but I didn't really know where.
Right.
And I was like, I must go there.
And there it
It was like all about location for me.
It is. It's a really great location. Again, hats off to any film school that's right across the street from a multiplex and from one of the best movie theaters on the planet.
The
I've never
ArcLight
seen a movie at the
Cinema
Cinerama Dome. It's really, really
And
nice.
they
We had a
screen
Volker
older
film there.
movies there all the time. Like I just saw the Tim Burton Batman there. Good Batman.
Did they put it up on the big
Yeah.
screen? Oh man, I wish I would have seen that. I haven't seen that on a big screen since '89, I guess. All right, now we're getting all geeky and wet for movies again. That's what it's all about. So there it is, kids. Film School Fridays. Thanks for listening, man. Go out and make some art and cut.